Tov, good morning everybody. My name is Alon Anava. And באמת בעזרת השם, we should dedicate the shiur for whoever needs refuah should have refuah, and whoever needs parnasa should have parnasa, and a lot and shlom bayit, and whoever needs to marry their kids or marry themselves should find a shidduch very fast, the right shidduch. And B'ezrat Hashem, we should all merit to see the coming of Mashiach very soon. So, I want to talk about something today that everybody has a problem with, and everybody's missing something, and that's inner peace and inner happiness. And unfortunately, nobody in our generation can really say, I'm very truly happy. Because the reality is that each and every one of us has something that bothers us, but something serious that bothers us. And we always look at other people and we think that their life is much better than mine because they have what I don't have. We don't realize that they might have something I don't have, but they're missing something that maybe I have. And even if somebody does have everything, so what? The point is that each and every one of us has a hole in the heart because we're lacking something. One person doesn't have parnasa. Another person, chas v'shalom, doesn't have peace in the house. Another person, chas v'shalom, is sick. Another person, the child, wanders off, does all sorts of troubling things. Each person has something in their life. Unfortunately, some people have a few things in their life. But each person has something in their life that is really bothering them. The reason why we have something in our life that is bothering us is only because the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants us now to scream for Mashiach to come. So he's putting everybody in a corner, pushes everybody to the wall. So each person will have some pressure in some sort of a way that he will try all the solutions. That's not going to work. It's okay, so who do I turn to? I turn to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. But regardless to that, one of our problems in our life, it comes from one little thing that stops and bothers all of us, and that's our own ego. Each and every one of us has an ego, something that causes me to think that I'm so special, and I'm so right, and I deserve everything, and everything has to come to me because I did like this and like this and like this. And the only thing that really stops us in life from being happy is our own ego. Now the reality is that a lot of you are looking at me like, he's not talking to me. He doesn't refer to me. I don't have an ego. He's wrong. But the reality is that we all have an ego. An ego is an American word. The Torah calls it yeshut. That yeshut means come from the word yesh. I'm something. Now the more that I pump my ego up, the more that I segregate myself from the world, the more it's harder for me to relate to the world. Because anything that somebody will tell me will annoy me because I'm the right opinion. Anything that somebody will do against me, then it hurts me. Then we all, our spiritual structure is all built the same way. I mean, we're looking at ourselves, we look in a mirror, we see a body. But inside there's a soul. And each and every one of us has a soul inside. And the soul also has, the same way that our body has a look and organs, then our soul also has, so to say, organs and a shape. And what structures the soul is many different components, and one of the components of the soul is called character traits. And each and every one of us is born with certain character traits. One person is very generous, one person is very loving, one person is very giving, one person is very forgiving. Each person has good character traits and bad character traits. Some people, their character traits, the good ones, are too much. Sometimes they're a little bit too little. But the problem is that we come here to the world with a lot of bad character traits. People get upset like that, no patience, no understanding, all sorts of different things that we have to work on. That's why we came to the world. We came to the world to refine our soul like a knife that you sharpen like a diamond. You ever saw how a diamond looks when you take it out of the mine? It's a black rock. And then, you look at it, it looks literally like a black rock. Now you start chiseling it, start shining it, then polishing it, and then you get a beautiful shining diamond. So every one of us comes down to the world like a rock, and that's all our bad character traits, and I have to start refining them. Slowly shining them and refining them. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to make sure that He puts in front of me all the right people to make sure that I can start refining myself. So if I have problems with being patient, Hashem is going to put around me the most annoying husband and the most annoying kids. Why? So I can constantly work on my patience and not go out of my comfort. And if I have a problem with anger, Hashem is going to put a husband that all day long makes me angry. Underwear on the floor, the toothbrush is thrown here. So Kadosh Baruch Hu knows how to put in front of each and every one of us the exact characters, so I can look at each and every one and know that every person in my life is a mirror. It's not an enemy or somebody to annoy me, it's a mirror. Because if I look at the mirror, I can see, oh, my hair is... You can go the entire day without noticing you have something stuck in your tooth. And everybody looks at you, nobody will tell you. If you would say, hey, the whole day that's how I looked. Or the hair is sticking out like that. So you go to the mirror all the time. Do I look normal? How do I look? So the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I'll put mirrors in front of you, and all day long you're going to look at the mirrors, and Hashem is going to tell you that's how you look. So the same way that you go to the mirror to look how your makeup looks, how the hair looks, how the dress looks, the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, I'm going to put these mirrors, and each individual in your life is going to tell you how you look. So if your husband annoys you, so Hashem is telling you in other words, calm down, be more patient, be more understanding. And so forth. So the point is that we have to point on our bad character traits. And once I recognize my bad character traits, then that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for me to start fixing. Now the problem is that here comes already the ego and says, whoa. He's wrong. I'm right. What stops us in our life is only our ego. Because if I wouldn't have an ego, then I would accept every person. I would forgive to people. I wouldn't get upset. I would see the situation how it is and not get out of I got completely into anger. The opposite of ego is when a person is humble. Where does the ego come from? It comes from the character, from the attribute that is called ge'ava, pride. And the more a person has ge'ava, has pride, then the ego goes up with it, and then the level of anava goes down. And then if chas v'shalom somebody tells me something, I get right away upset. How dare he tell me? Me? How dare he tell that to me? So the problem is that each and every one of us, with the good character traits that we have, because everybody has good character traits. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave every human being a talent, at least one, and that talent has to be used for serving God. So if you're an unbelievable singer, it has to be to serve God. And if you're an amazing dancer, or you love dancing, it's to do mitzvot and to make people happy with that. And if you have patience, you like kids, it's everything, the talent that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you, is to utilize it for Avodat Hashem. And then Hashem gave us good character traits. So if Hashem gave me a certain character trait and I know it's good, this is already not ge'ava. This is not pride to know what I'm good at. I know what I'm good at. You have to know what you're good at. You have to recognize what you're good at and apply it and to use it in a positive way. Chas v'shalom to use it in the negative way. Like some people, they're very, very smart. So they use it to be very sneaky in business or to manipulate situation. No, if Hashem gave you wisdom, then you use it to bring people closer to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You use whatever good things Hashem gave you to serve God and to get people closer to God and yourself closer to God. But that's the easy part. The harder part is to recognize what you're not good at and all your bad character traits, and then to start working on that. Now, if you don't do that, ultimately you'll never be happy. You can have everything physical and material in the world, but if deep down in your heart something is pinching your heart, you're not going to be happy. The problem is that we try to point a finger on everything around me, why I'm not happy. And every person deep down inside is missing something. And if you're looking at me and saying this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, then the problem is even worse. The reality is you wake up in the morning, you have to be true to yourself. I mean, you can lie to anybody. It's not a good thing to lie. It's actually a very big sin to lie. But you can lie to everybody around you, but you cannot not lie to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you cannot lie to yourself. And if you lie to yourself, you're going to have, at some point in your life, you're going to face a serious problem. Because lies create more lies. There's no such a thing as one lie. That's the problem with a lie. And a lot of people say, okay, it's just a white lie. I don't want to now get into an argument. Just a little white lie. There's no such thing as a white lie. A lie is a lie. And the first lie will create the second one, and the second one already has to create the third one because it doesn't match already the first. And before you know it, you're running onto one generation after the other generation, and you have a whole mess of lies. Now go remember what you said. You lie to somebody, half a year down the line, you meet her on the street. Oh no, what did I tell her? Then she tells you, but you said like this and like that. Oh no. So lying is the worst pit you can dig to yourself because you don't know how to get out of it at some point. And Bechlal, the lying only works in this world. In the world above, there's no such a thing as lying. In the world above, there's only emet. And if a person gets used to lying, he's going to have a problem when he goes upstairs. Because he's not going to know how to deal with the reality. If a person is constantly knowing to be honest, even though it's not nice to hear, and even though it might make a fight, even though it's going to be annoying right now, or embarrassing. Our sages say, midvar sheker tichak, constantly be honest. Why? First of all, it's a sin to lie. More than that, when you're neshama, your soul is going to go up to Shamayim, it's only going to know how to say the truth. So 50% of the problems, yeah, I'm sorry I did it. It's embarrassing to say right now, you're right, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. But at least you ended it there. You don't have to start going now into a whole backwards and forth argument. So you can lie to any person in the world, but you cannot lie to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you for sure cannot lie to yourself. And if you lie to yourself, you're doing yourself the biggest damage ever. So at least be honest with yourself, and you look in the mirror in the morning, and you're saying, okay, let's be honest here between me and myself. Don't lie to yourself. And when you get to the point that you're 100% honest with yourself, so you say, okay, what am I really bad at? What am I really, really bad at? I have a problem with anger. I get angry like that. Okay, I write one down. I have no patience. Somebody will spill something on the table, on the floor, you blow up. So what? It's a little bit of water spilled. Okay, I have a problem with anger. The problem is that we don't want to look at ourselves and say, oh, I have a problem. Now this is internal things. I mean, some people deal with external things like alcohol, gambling, drugs, all these things. You come and tell them you have a problem with drinking. No, I don't. It's only a couple shots a day. It's not a problem. People are very hard for them to admit their faults. But this is external things. When it comes to external things, that's a whole different thing. I'm now talking in your own private life, in your own inside. That it's very hard for people to face the reality. Yes, I'm not good here. Yes, I'm failing here. Yes, I can't stand that. But that's the way to repair the problem. So when at the end of the day, when you're going to sleep and you want to cover yourself with a blanket because you didn't have a good day, because that person said something bad about me and it hurt me, and this person did something wrong to me and it hurt me, and my child doesn't listen to me, and this guy is suing me, and everybody's having all sorts of issues all day long. At the end of the day, all you want to do is just cover your head and say, I need a vacation. I need to go somewhere. I can't take it. The problem is not to run away from the reality. That's the problem. What most people do is they run away from the reality. This is the worst thing to do, is to run away from the reality. In our day of age, it's the easiest thing. You go and the doctor tells you, here, take this pill, relax, don't worry. Forget your problems right now. The problem is that when it's deep down inside of me, if I don't deal with it, then it becomes worse and worse. And it all comes from one thing, my ego. Why do I get hurt from somebody? Because he said something bad about me. Why do I get disappointed? Because they didn't do what I wanted, not what they wanted. Why do I get upset? Why do I get angry? All these things. It's because somebody did something not according to what I want. That's my ego. But if you lower your expectations and lower everything, then you're never going to get upset. Because you're like, okay, that person, it didn't mean to hurt me. Now again, don't take the words out of context. There are situations that somebody will deliberately come to say something bad about you. You have all the rights in the world to be upset. But what's going to help you if you get upset? Sometimes you're 100% right. Certain situations you are 100% right. But what is it going to help you if you're going to prove that you're right? It's not going to help you. I have a student now, they have a business. Somebody did some not nice thing. They lost $180,000. Somebody tricked him, a partner. So he comes to me all upset, and he's all hyped up, and I tell him, first of all, why are you upset? Kadosh Baruch Hu sent him. It's a test. Why are you getting upset? So the next thing he says, I want to sue him. So I tell him, what is going to help you? You're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on the lawsuit, on lawyers. Nights you're not going to sleep. And what if you lose? You might not have a good case. What if you lose? So you lost money. He tricked you for the money. And now for 3-4 months you're going to carry anger with you. What is it going to help you that you're going on a vengeance to prove that you're right? You're right. So what if you're right? The Kadosh Baruch Hu sent this test right now. Maybe you don't deserve it. Maybe you did something and the Kadosh Baruch Hu is taking the money right now away. Maybe 10 years ago you stole some money from somebody. Maybe you lied in a deal. Maybe you did gezel. Gezel is taking something that doesn't belong to you. How do you know? Now it's payback time. 10 years later, people think that if you do, Chas v'shalom today a sin, nothing came. Oh, Kadosh Baruch Hu forgot. No. It can come back to you 20 years later. Person can now cheat in business and think that, nobody noticed. Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't notice. 20 years later, something comes, and then you don't understand where it's coming from. So if anything that happens to you is because the Kadosh Baruch Hu sent that situation. Person annoys you in your life is because the Kadosh Baruch Hu sent that person to your life to annoy you. There's a reason for that. Anything that happens to you in this world did not happen by chance. It happened because the Kadosh Baruch Hu sent that situation, either to test you, to see if you'll get upset, if you'll get angry, if you'll curse, if you'll revenge, whatever. If you're going to say no, it's from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm not going to get upset. The point is that our stumbling block, whatever makes me fail my entire life, is my own ego. Geava. And if you don't have that, 90% of your problems are solved. What's the opposite of Geava, of pride? Anava. So we learn from our teacher, from our master, Moshe Rabbeinu. It says that he was the most humblest man ever. Now when you're thinking about it, he was a king. Moshe Rabbeinu was a king. Don't imagine somebody with a long beard and a cane walking like that. Moshe was a king. He got the Torah. Can you imagine? The only man in the world that saw the Kadosh Baruch Hu and got the Torah. Can you imagine what type of an ego he should have? Look in the Torah, we read it a few weeks ago. Comes to him Korach. Just that you understand who Korach wasn't some guy from the street. Korach was a billionaire. If you're looking at the terminology, try to compare 3,300 years ago to what we have now. It was all the same. Some people had money, some people don't have money, some people were smarter, some people were less smarter. It was all the exact same thing, just that they didn't have iPhones. That's the only difference. And instead of a Mercedes, they had a camel. So Korach was a billionaire. If you're looking at our terminology, he was like a Bill Gates. He was a very, very wealthy man. Not only that, he was a very respected man in the religious community. He came with him with 250 Rashi Sanhedraot. This is like a Rashi of a Jewish court, is a Sanhedrin. He was a very, it's like you come now and say one of the biggest rabbis of our generation. So Korach was not some guy from the street. He was a serious guy. And this guy comes to Moshe Rabbeinu, the king, and he starts rebuking him and telling him, "Who do you think you are? How dare you you made yourself king, you give your brother to be the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, you give your nephew to be another Kohen, you give your brother-in-law this, you give everybody jobs. What is this, an inside job? Who let you do that?" And he starts rebuking him. And he starts telling them, "You're tricking all the people." And more and more and more, he's just rebuking him. Now you would think that Moshe Rabbeinu will say, "Whoa, back off. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are talking to me? I'm the king. I'm Moshe Rabbeinu. You know who I am? I went up on the mountain and got the Torah. I split the ocean. I got the Jews out of Mitzrayim. How dare you talk to me?" That's what you would think Moshe Rabbeinu would answer. But Moshe Rabbeinu does the complete opposite. The Torah tells us, "Vayipol al panav vayev." He fell on his face and started crying. And you know what he said to himself? Wow, maybe he's right. Maybe this guy is right. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I did something. Maybe I did a mistake. So he started looking at himself. Maybe he was wrong. This is Midat Anava. Then instead of right away the ego gets all exploded, "How dare you talk to me?" Right away he moved back and said, "Wait a minute. If that person comes and tells me something, maybe he's right. Maybe not, but maybe he's right." And this is the Midat Anava, that I don't right away push something away. No, wait a minute, let me see. If somebody comes and tells me something, if my wife comes and tells me anything that bothers her, a normal husband will tell her, "Oh, I know. You're exaggerating. You're not right. It's not true." The right husband will say, "What did you say? You said I don't give you enough attention? Maybe you're right. Maybe I don't give you enough attention." And this is not only in marriage, it's in anything. It's between the kids, business, anything. Somebody comes and complains to you, don't let your ego right away fight. No, wait a minute. If somebody told me something, maybe they're right. So whatever stops me in this world from moving one step forward is only my ego. And if I move this aside, I'm not exaggerating, 80-90% of my problems will be solved, because I'll be able to see things in the right eye. And I'll be able to understand that the person in front of me also has feelings, also has an opinion. And it's the hardest thing to do, because most of you probably in your heart are now saying, "What's he talking about? That person stole from me. That person said Lashon Hara about me. That person did not listen to me." But that's the ego. So what if he didn't listen to me? Somebody owes me something? Nobody owes me anything. The same way that how I judge other people, it's exactly how I behave in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu can come and say the exact same thing about me. So if I'm 100% good with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu does have nothing to say about me, that's a level that I will probably get, that people will have nothing to say about me. So if I don't do exactly what the Kadosh Baruch Hu tells me, I have no right to go and to complain on anybody else. So if I lie, or I cheat, or I gossip, or I look the wrong way, or I steal, or whatever, then it's all going to come right back at me in many different ways. And then I have the chutzpah to come and get upset. So the bottom line is that we all are facing all sorts of things that bothers us. All day long people call me, my kid is going out with a goy, my partner is stealing from me, this is not working out, parnasah is hard, this is like that, here's this guy's suing me. All day long, we're running into all sorts of problems. All day long. Everybody has it. Nobody can come and tell me now, no, everything's good. 50% of that, it's because how I conduct myself. Whatever I throw out to the world will come right back at me. Don't think that if you're going to behave a certain way, it's going to be evaporating into the world. You mean to somebody, somebody else will be mean to you. You chutzpan to somebody, somebody will be chutzpan to you. That's how it works. You throw something negative into the world, that thing will bounce right back at you. You throw something positive into the world, it will bounce at you. People sometimes say that Kadosh Baruch Hu is punishing me. Why do I deserve it? Why is Hashem punishing me? Hashem doesn't punish you. Hashem does not sit in Shamayim with a note saying, how am I going to punish her right now? People think that Kadosh Baruch Hu sits in Shamayim with a long beard. They're picturing like this man sitting on a big chair and giving orders. Go get, do this. No. Kadosh Baruch Hu is the ultimate good. It's the source of life. Hashem doesn't have a face or a beard. And people think that Kadosh Baruch Hu is punishing them because they did something. Kadosh Baruch Hu does not punish anyone. In this world you do an action and right away you get a reaction. That's it. If you now bang your head at the wall, your action is to bang the head at the wall, you know what's going to be the reaction? You're going to have a headache. It's not the wall's fault, it's not your head's fault, it's not everybody's fault, it's your fault. You banged the head at the wall. If I now come and take a rock and I throw it at this window and smash the window, the only one at fault here is me. Not the rock, not the window, nobody else. And the owner of the house is not punishing me, she just tells me, listen, you broke the window, pay for it. I'm not asking you to do anything, just clean the mess and pay for it. So I throw something out to the world, it right away will bounce back at me. If I do good, good will come back at me. That's it. Hashem is not punishing me. So if something bad happened to me, 50% of it most likely is because I created that energy, threw it to the world, now it's coming back at me. And it doesn't always come back right on the same day. It can come a year later. Depending on how far you threw it into the world. I do something good, it will come back at me. That's how this world works. That's 50% of the problems that happen to us. The rest of it can happen either because I did something in a previous life. Some people, something happens to them in the middle of their life. And they don't understand why. That might be a tikkun, something that they have to fix from a previous life. We're all reincarnated. We all came here a few times already. And it could very much be that 1,000 years ago, I lived somewhere in a different body, and I did something, and I came back here now to repair it. So when something bad happens to me, after I did my analogy where it can come from, and I can find out or trace it where it came from, I can say, okay, maybe it's a tikkun. Maybe it's something that I have to go through. And accept that it's coming from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Which that is the ultimate Madonna Vow. That I'm accepting that it's coming from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And I'm not looking who to blame. Anything bad that happens to me, right away my finger starts looking who to blame. Oh, she did it. Oh, it's her fault. And the rest of the part of bad things that happens to us is because I cook something and then I'm not willing to accept the consequences. Just today I met somebody and he comes and complains a whole half an hour that his son is going out with a non-Jewish girl. And I told him, did you send him to yeshiva when he was a little boy? No. Did you have a Shabbat meal every Friday to teach him what's Shabbat? No. Did you celebrate the holidays? No. So I told him, so your son doesn't know he's Jewish. Of course he's going to go and date a non-Jewish girl. He doesn't know what it means to be Jewish. What do you want from him? It's your fault, it's not him. He's a normal human being. You didn't teach him that on Shabbat we have a meal at home, we go to the synagogue. On Pesach we make a little seder. You didn't teach him the value of being Jewish, so what do you want from him? He's a normal human being. And he doesn't understand what you want from him. So you can't come and complain. Told him, at this point in your life you can't complain. You're not happy with where he is now. then try to figure out now how to fix it, but you cannot be angry at your kid. It's your problem. I told him, I know you're not happy about it, but you did an action, now there's a reaction. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm just saying, don't come to complain. So I do certain actions in my life. Not too long ago, I was trying to help a couple. And the husband was complaining something about the wife, and then we find out that all his life he's lying to her. So I told him, what do you want? 20 years you're lying to your wife. What do you think? You don't think he's going to backlash at you at some point? So a person has to take responsibility to my actions. And this is where my ego is going to come in and say, no, I'm right. No, you might not be right. You have to bring yourself to the point that you're saying, let's be honest with myself. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm not so perfect. So the point is that anything that I deal with in my life is I have to make order and try to analyze where it's coming from. And the first reaction that I'm going to get is going to get upset. The anger. If you're looking at the hierarchy, first of all is ego. That's the highest. Ego, right after that, will birth two character traits. Anger and sadness. Right away. If you have anger, it's because of your ego. If you have sadness, it's ego. Why do you get sad? Because somebody did something to me. She said something about me. It makes me sad. Why? So that's your ego. Ego will birth sadness and anger. So if you have anger, again, the anger will tell you, no, I'm right. Going back to the same place. So you can be very narrow-minded and right away find the cause or the reason why I'm angry, or you can be smart and saying, okay, why am I getting angry? Why am I getting upset? Why am I getting disappointed? Maybe something's wrong with me. So the key to success and happiness is three things. A, you have to accept that everything comes from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. First of all, you have to be humble in front of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Being humble is two ways. Between me and the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that whatever Hashem does for me, I have to humble myself and say, okay, you did it. There's a reason. Second of all is being humble between me and another person. That's the ultimate Madonna Vow. That I look at any other person and I don't judge them wrong. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe the person that now said something bad at me is going through a very hard period, and I'm the one who stood in front of that person at the wrong moment. They threw a not nice word. More than that, being humble in front of another person is that I don't think that I'm better than anybody. That's really being humble. It's seeing the good in every other person and saying, okay, maybe I'm good here, but that person is good here. So first of all, you have to accept that everything comes from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Second of all, you have to accept that half of the things that you do comes from me. You have to take responsibility, like an adult. Kids don't like taking responsibilities. Adults also don't like taking responsibility, but sometimes it's me. And more than that is to understand that...
Can we talk a little bit life after death, your experience a bit? Life after death.
That's hard to say a little bit. But before that, at least that you can take something out of today is to understand that my entire life is just to make me better. Kadosh Baruch Hu puts all these mirrors in front of me to make me better. So instead, next time, instead of getting upset, be smart. Instead of getting hurt, be smart. And understand that the key to my happiness is me humbling myself and accepting things and dealing with it the right way. Bezrat Hashem, if you start going through these things, you'll get to the point that you start annulling all sorts of problems. You're removing problems from your life. Because you start accepting it the right way. You accept other people. You respect other people. Slowly, you'll see that you start dealing with things in a total different way. Bezrat Hashem, you should have the comprehension and the knowledge to know that there are many people around you and we have to work as a team and to accept everybody around me and to accept that everything comes from the Kadosh Baruch Hu and see how am I fixing things, not how am I fighting with them. Bezrat Hashem, you should all be matzliach.
Bye.